Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. I'm doing my regular update on the market. We're going to look at what happened today and what's likely to happen tomorrow. Of course, we're going to touch the usual suspects like fear and greed index and the stock market heat map and economic news due for tomorrow, which is going to be significant. I'll also briefly talk about Tesla. I don't want to take too much time on that. Tesla disappointed. And in the price charts, we are going to look at the indices. We're going to look at oil and US dollar index. Then we are going to look at all the Magnificent Six and, of course, the genomic stocks. With that said, let's get started. Welcome back, friends. First, let us look at the fear and greed index. Fear and greed index has gone into extreme greed. This is a little bit of a dangerous situation to be in, especially if you're dealing with XXX leveraged products, which is what FNGU is. I'll tell you about how I'm handling this and how I have survived so far. That said, let's go on to look at the heat map. And in the heat map, you will see that the only gainers have been the Magnificent Six. And of course, out of the six, Apple is right now weak. It has got minus 0.35. And Tesla also didn't do well. But the others have been doing extremely well, especially Netflix. It pushed the market and also the FNGU because it gained 10.7% today based on its strategic directions and tie-ups and performance and future outlook. So it looks good. So far, so good. And then if we go to look at the US economic calendar and we check out here, I would like to remark that we have the MBA purchase index. It comes from the mortgage side. It's for new house purchases. And it has come out stronger than the previous month, which would indicate a robust economy with a lot of activities in the housing sector. So this is not something that's likely to make the Fed benign. So that's one thing I could remark about based on my understanding of these stats. And when crude oil stocks go down more than expected, then that becomes a concern for inflation because the oil prices can go up. And if you're holding oil stocks, then I think it's a positive. Now coming to what we are looking at in future, durable goods orders month over month is going to come up. GDP growth rate is going to come up. I think Thursday is going to be a very important day. There is PCE prices quarter over quarter, non-defense good orders, and then jobless claims 4-week. Everything is coming in, which is going to have an impact on the market, in my opinion. So it's going to be, action will start even before the market opens because most of the data is coming at 8:30 a.m. And of course, we have some more information coming up later on. But at 8:30 a.m. itself, I think the market would have a direction set. And this is going to drive the way things go. Now, I want to go on to the trading view chart and look at the Nasdaq Futures. And what I see here is that the futures have already gone down to minus 0.08%. And the market is still open. I'm recording this on 24th January 2024 at 9:36 p.m. I'm a bit late to show you the aftermarket action. So apologies for that. QQQ was up 0.55% today. And it has managed to remain within the channel that we have drawn for it. So I'm going to extend this channel further, keeping the slope the same so that we can track the future trajectory. And RSI is above the 70% mark. So it's a kind of overbought situation, but trends can remain overbought for a longer period of time. MACD is also bullish. So let's see what happens tomorrow. VIX has come up and it was pushed down by this diagonal line of support from before, which is now acting as a diagonal line of resistance. Also giving us a push down on the VIX is the 9-day exponential moving average, which is sitting at 13.24. VIX ended at 13.13. Then S&P 500 was up 0.11%, and Dow Jones was down minus 0.25%, supported by the 9-day exponential moving average. US dollar index was down, but it was higher than yesterday. It opened much higher than yesterday, but it dropped and closed just above where it closed yesterday, notching a gain of 0.8%. The market is still open, so it's gone to 0.07% gain. Russell index was down minus 0.82%, and US oil is down minus 0.13%. The market is still open out here, and I think all this is due to the stock issue as well as the Red Sea issues. So I have Exxon stocks in my portfolio, so I'm looking at some positives out there. Put call ratio is almost neutral, and the broad-based support is reducing because the number of companies in S&P 500 above their 50-day average has dropped down to 70.57. So we are kind of seeing petering down of the energy in the market. Next, let us go on to the Magnificent 6. We have NVDA, which was up 2.49%, still going very strong. We still have a little gap before we hit this red line of resistance on the momentum chart, and MACD is very, very bullish. Netflix was up 10.7%. Look at the gap up. It needs to be filled down. That is the worry. And also you got overbought RSI. So I'll see a bit of profit taking tomorrow. I think Meta was up 1.43%. Again, RSI is above the 70%, so it's overbought. And we have target for Meta out here, which is very high. It is at 543. I mean, sometimes I don't believe this, but that's what the chart is telling me. Let us see if it can do that. If it does that, this is going to be a bumper year for us. Then we have Tesla, which performed very poorly, and it had support at 208.09. It blew past that support, so now that support has become a resistance. Tesla is not at all doing well. It has fallen below the 30%, which means it's oversold. There is likely to be a bounce back from there, but then their future outlook also is not great. So we'll have to see how the market reacts tomorrow, because Elon Musk has the fanboys who may probably prop up the market. And then we have Microsoft, which gained 0.92%. Again, the same story, it's overbought, and I have this line of resistance here on the momentum chart. If it hits that, I'm expecting it to drop down from there. Well, friends, now we come to FNGU. I was able to sell FNGU at 279 this morning. I sold it before 10 o'clock, and then I placed a conditional order in which I stipulated that I would buy the same number of shares back at 269 and sell it at 282. So the order never got triggered because the market didn't come down to that level. But right now I'm looking at the charts out here, and I can see that we have the RSI, which is in the overbought condition. I'm just going to scroll in a little bit more to see the peaks out here. I want to put a red line out here just as a guide. So that is going to be a resistance for us as at 83.80. So if we touch that, then I think FNGU will come down. That is one other way of looking at some kind of boundaries. And you will see that FNGU briefly broke above 277.47. It achieved our cup and handle target of 282, and then it came back down. So tomorrow I'm expecting that it will fall down further, but it has got support with this diagonal line of support, and that will be where it might probably bounce back from. That's my expectation. And I was talking to you about fear and greed index being in extreme greed. When fear and greed index is in extreme greed, it should not have overnight positions on XXX. So you have to look at the trends of how the market is moving, and you have to sell it when it is up and then buy it when it is down. It's very tricky. But the thing is, you have to be extremely careful because you are likely to get trapped for a long time in the triple X if you are holding it at the wrong time. The loss can be tremendous, and recovering from that will be very difficult. So be very careful. That's my personal opinion, not financial advice. Apple was down minus 0.35%. Google was up 1.12%. Again, oversold. Overbought. Amazon was up 0.54%. Plenty of room on the RSI. Amazon can go up further. And AMD was up 5.76%. Friends, I have AMD in my portfolio on the Canadian side, and it's doing extremely well. So that's what we have here. Next, let's go on to look at our genomic stocks. And in genomics, I have IMTX, which was up 0.34%. Illumina, despite the difficult market, was up 0.18%. And as predicted, it broke out above the bullish pennant. And it was pushed down by this line of support from 141.43, which turned into a resistance when we fell below it. So tomorrow we have to break through above it. Either we open above it or go further or break through it. So that's what we are looking for. And as far as the momentum is concerned, I think I'm a bit optimistic that can happen tomorrow. And Beam was down minus 0.96%, and chart is looking very weak. PACB was down minus 1%. Again, chart is looking weak. Whatever promise it held up yesterday is gone because momentum is flat now. Prime was down 1.36%. Chart is looking weak. ALLO was down minus 1.56. Chart has got some strength. Hopefully it can pick up tomorrow. CRBU was down 1.70%. Chart is looking weak. DNA was down minus 2.36%. Chart still shows some strength. I have some hope for tomorrow. ARKG was down 2.50. Chart is looking weak. NTLA was down 2.83%. Chart is looking weak. Editas down 3.60%. Again, chart is looking weak. CRISPR down 4.80. Chart, I would say, is neutral. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow. VERV was down minus 5.83%. Chart is looking very weak. NVTA was down 5.85%. Chart very weak. But NVTA could probably bounce back, a dead cat bounce from the 30% on the RSI as oversold. And Bionanogenomics was down 6.06%, very weak chart. Bluebird was down another 10 cents to 1.07, looking very weak. And it's likely to bounce off from the 30% RSI. So hoping for that bounce back tomorrow. But overall, very disappointing performance by Bluebird. And friends, that brings me to an end of this session. I've been powering through an allergy, so I hope you can pardon me for rushing through a little bit. But that's what we have in the market. Tesla disappointed, and Tesla is going to have an impact on FNGU. But fortunately for us, Netflix was in today and it took us to a high. So tomorrow, profit taking from Netflix and also the aftermath of Tesla will reflect in the market. Those two things are going to put a negative spin. But at 8:30 a.m. in the morning, if the economic news shows weakness in the economy, then that will be good news for the stock market, because then the interest cut prospects will become much stronger and that can kind of neutralize. So I'm expecting a lackluster performance tomorrow. Let us see what happens. Again, these are all my personal opinions and not financial advice. So please do your own due diligence when you take decisions about the market. With that, my friends, I'd like to end this video here. Thanks and have a great day. See you later.